Yo, crypto nation and mining family. Crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo, crypto nation and mining family. What's going on out there? Hope you all are staying safe from this flu epidemic. It's like, yeah, you got to be careful of people that have a compromised immune system. My wife's a nurse, so I'm not so much worried so much for me and her getting it, but I don't want to accidentally transmit it to her and then she brings it to work with her, where there's a special needs girl and a 102-year-old grandpa. It's like, holy cow, that man has been through everything, and he gets to see something that he would have heard stories about when he was a kid, which was talking about the Spanish flu that started here in the United States. But that's a whole different topic with that one, where they demonize one country for talking about it, trying to get good information out there. But with this, new flu that's coming out, they're more worried about where it started from versus just trying to look at scientific data to try to figure out what's going on with this. The World Health Organization, I'm not sure if they're being late to the game on trying to get some of this information out. Doesn't really matter. Yes, this is a pretty good flu that's going around. It's pretty contagious, as we all know. And if you guys don't pay attention to like stock markets and stuff like that, you would have been seeing that through all of this. A lot of people like Peter Schiff and stuff like that likes to demonize the Bitcoin market, but he does talk good stuff. He does make sense. Love him or hate him with how the stock market is. He's very knowledgeable in all that good stuff. So I'm just kind of pulling up a few little charts. I should have actually have done this already. I'm not used to setting it up quite like this. So bam. Alright. No thanks. I don't have a paid version. I'm on a free version, so stupid pop-ups. But yeah, if anybody hasn't been paying any real attention to all of this, check it out. Here is the S&P 500. Yes, I do understand some of the stuff, just because I have dabbled a little bit into the stock market. People have been looking at the stock market and the bonds market as a safe haven for growing wealth. But the thing is it's been on a 30-year bull market, guys. Stuff like that cannot be sustainable in the long term. So now you're starting to see that with the virus going around, that a lot of industries are being hit. Nobody really wants to use airlines, because you're going to be in close quarters with a bunch of people. People aren't going on to cruise ships because you're close quarters to a lot of people. It's just a great way to transmit this. So now you're having this, people are wondering where they should put their wealth at to have it as a safe haven of sorts. So it looks like even out of all the markets, they are all doing the same thing. They are all crashing. The reason being is that being on a 30-year bull market, it's been in a bubble for 30 years, just inflating the balloon. We've had a few micro crashes here and there, and the government just responds by helicopter money, just giving it out, airdropping money. It's an airdrop, guys. Think about it. If you enjoy airdrops in crypto, then this is going to be your day, you know. But if you're not, if you're like myself, where you know that an airdrop reduces the value of that currency, you'll understand that what the government's actually doing is they're devaluing their currency, giving it to, ultimately, you know, because they're putting in a $6 trillion stimulus plan. $2 trillion are supposed to go to us common people. There are cutoffs on that for people who make too much over on this side versus this side. People who are like under $75,000 a year will be airdropped, you know, at least $1,000 to, you know, depends on your situation. I'm not even sure how they're airdropping all of this. The Fed did hire in one of the guys from Coinbase into their group to be helping them helicopter all this cash out to people quickly, you know. But with all of this, they have dropped interest rates down to zero, so these guys could sit there and borrow money for free. Doesn't even cost them anything. They can default on that loan. There's really not much of a penalty on it because it's free money. And you're seeing that even though they're sitting here and injecting all of this money in, they are not able to basically recover the market. So right now what you're seeing in the S&P 500 is that it's actually kind of come down and bounced. I think this is going to be more like a dead cat bounce, where it should just roll right on over. And hold on here, pull this up. Oop, minimize. Oh, here we go. Let's do it just like this and full screen that. So this is in 1929. So we rode from, you know, this is the Dow Jones. It rode from the high, and within a short amount of time, it crashed down. Then the government injected a bunch of money. It fluffed back up, and then did a dramatic drop. And as it dropped, they injected more liquidity into the market, created new currency, you know, counterfeited more money in out of nowhere. It did a dead cat bounce and rolled over, kind of bounced a little bit on the way back down, and then hit the low. And then it rode out like this for a long period of time in that low market. There was no quick recovery from this because they had basically, they stopped the knife from falling, true. But now they had too much money in the market, and the market was trying to absorb that, had to pay for that debt that was created out of nowhere. So now you come back into here, and you see that it crashed down. They injected a little bit of money, propped back up a little bit, crashed out harder, bam. They created a whole bunch of money now. They've been injecting $175 billion a night to overnight lending for the banking institution, and now you're sitting here and seeing it do a small little recovery. Do not be fooled by this fake out. This is just my understanding of how the market works. Something that I've kind of seen a few times. You can go back to 2018, did the same thing, dropped back down, it crashed out a little bit, they injected a whole bunch of money, and it kind of came up, rolled over, had to absorb that new money that got printed out of nowhere, and then we took another tear, and it was a little bit of volatility, and then it stabilized as everything kind of absorbed into it. You can go back a little bit further, and is this it? No. Let's see here. I'm trying to look for 2008. You can kind of see how it's trending from that 2008. This is 11. And just kind of all over the place. You've seen some mini dips and throughout time on here. I really should have probably seen if I can. Okay, so that's 03. Went too far. Okay, so it went from, okay, that must be 2008. Yep, here we go. So here's where it took a dip, and there everybody was afraid because this is when the housing market bubble popped. Okay, they just injected money, bailed out the banks for making bad loans to people for businesses. Why? Because 19% of people defaulted on their loans. That's all it took to drop the market like this. They injected cash into the market, and it's been on a tear since. And they figured that they can continue basically playing out this Ponzi scheme of just injecting money in. Now we have a bad cold that's going around, guys, and everybody's panicking. They're like, oh my god, the TP stocks must be off the charts right now. Oh. But all joking aside, you know, you can sit there and see that the real safe havens, gold and Bitcoin, guys, gold and Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at gold. So you see that even in the gold market, it's been on a good run up. Cool. It shows that people are looking at gold as a safe haven, as real money. And they're right. It is real money. One of the oldest versions of real money out there. But as soon as the stock market took a pop, you see gold drop too. It wasn't like something that I was unforeseen. Whenever you have a crisis situation, a black swan event, people who don't understand what they're looking at in the long term, people who are emotionally trading, you're going to see them liquidating their positions, or people who are trading the market, they got liquidated too on the way down. And that sometimes snowballs a quicker liquidation, especially if it's on the spot market or something like that, which would pull back the whole market. Stupid ads. I'm an unpaid person, so I get these stupid ads that pop up every so often. Not my fault. But as you can see, that since things have calmed down, gold has recovered very, very nicely, guys. This is a great safe haven. Yes, any good safe haven in a crisis, you'll see the shakeout. And if you can sit there and catch that shakeout, you'll actually be able to increase your position a little bit, even in gold, and be very happy on the other side. So anybody that got a little bit down here, which I know a lot of people are having issues right now, and most of these gold mines and copper mines for a silver market, a lot of people don't understand that as they are mining copper and such, copper and lead, one of the things that they find is silver. So just know that people are mining industrial metals to find silver as a byproduct. So as these mines are shut down, now your gold and silver brokers are going to have less of access to actually having physical. This way you can physically pick it up, gold or silver. So just know that that's going to be what's also going to start driving the price up in the gold and silver market, is that these mines are shut down because they're not going to open up just to get everybody sick down in the mine because you're working close quarters. It's some of it's recycled air in there. Very good way to just fester any kind of flu epidemic down in the mine, and then your mine's shut down no matter what. So what's the difference at that point, right? So that's what's kind of causing the price of gold to also shoot up, because the gold mines are closed until further notice. So that's going to like I said, it's going to sit there and start driving prices up. For anybody who's holding gold, this is going to be a good position for all of you guys. Talking about mining facilities that are shutting down for gold, you can sit here and see right up over here that you can see that the hash rate is actually dropping. It has been steadily dropping, not just a little bit. It's like almost looking like a whole giant mining facility just shut down, or at least one or two, because that's a significant amount of hash rate that has dropped off in the last few weeks. This could be that some of the mining facilities haven't opened back up. They've been completely closed down with the virus going around. Hope that's not the case, and whoever it is safe. Otherwise, this is a very interesting point, because if the hash rate drops right now, we're a little bit away from the halvening. Halvening is around the corner. Is this people just, I'm done, turning everything off, I've got to pay my bills, and I'm gone? Or is that the difficulty adjustment is actually also right around the corner here too, and we're seeing a drop off in hash rate right before a difficulty adjustment, and will we see a hash rate return going up right after the difficulty adjustment? Because that actually does a very interesting thing to the effectiveness of the hash rate you may have. Because if the difficulty is down, that means you can actually shorten the block time. So you're going to have probably less than 2 weeks to play like this. Where if they manipulate the hash rate difficulty down, and then onboard everything right back on the other side, which it should be in a few days here, give or take. That means that the miners that are mining, that have big mining facilities, they're actually getting more rewards. They're hitting more blocks in a smaller amount of time. Because remember, the 10-minute block time on Bitcoin is an average. It is not the law. So they try to keep it relative around the that 10-minute range. So right now, as it stands, with the hash rate dropping and the difficulty being so high, right now block time is 19 minutes per block, give or take. So kind of think of it like that. So people who are sending Bitcoin transactions through right now, it's actually taking a longer amount of time. This may or may not prove to be an issue. I don't really see it too much as an issue. I'm thinking that it's mining facilities that have basically completely shut down, either due to fundage, which some people think that if it's due to fundage, they're going to be liquidating their Bitcoin position so that they could basically pay the bills. And instead of trying to rack up more bills, they just turn the mining facility off temporarily. Again, that falls into my little theory. If that's the case, then they're turning it off, trying to dip the difficulty down so that they can reduce the block time. And when they reduce the block time, they earn more Bitcoin. It could be a mining manipulation a little bit. Hard to say. That is a lot of hash rate to come off the market. And I think that if it is the mining facilities have bills, you should see that in the charting here. So I charted this. I started drawing some of this chart back in October of last year. I started drawing the channel that we've stayed in, and sitting there trying to understand, and I'm trying to figure out where the market's going according to hash rate, and seeing if there's any correlation to the mining hash rate going up and the Bitcoin sell pressure. You would see like little spikes of buy pressure followed by a bunch of sell pressure coming in. And that's what you've pretty much been seeing. Back over here, we actually had more market movement to bring it up. And then as soon as we hit the top over here, we pretty much just stalled out. And it's just been no real market movement. And that's some of the reasons why we've been trending down. Now, if you look at the wallets, that have been around for more than a year, they have not been moving Bitcoin out and selling it. So your long-term holders have not been playing in this field. It's pretty much been your futures markets and your traders on the on like your leveraged markets getting liquidated here and there. Is it being done from the miners? Not sure. But I thought we had hit the floor here, going in, starting to dip into oversold territory a little bit, and then we pumped up. And as we were coming up, I was saying that there's no way this is going to sustain itself. Absolutely no way. You can sit there and look at your buy and sell orders. The orders on the books were really low. So I think this was just like leverages coming in. And then once the leverages got to a certain point, it triggered the massive sell-off. And those positions got liquidated on the longs because they were longing it all the way up here. I'm sure there's people who longed it right at the top thinking it was going to keep going. Because, nobody saw that the stock market was in a bubble and that there was a black swan event that was coming through to pop it. And once it popped, you got to think, anything that anybody had money in that they were trading in, they liquidated everything because they're trying to find safe havens. The long-term holders know Bitcoin and gold are the safe haven. So, I mean, even myself, I'll agree with Peter's Schiff with the people will not really understand what they're looking at, and they will trade on emotion. But there are people who understand the Keynesian economics that we have going on here. You will see in the long term that the safe havens are going to be gold and are going to be Bitcoin. Silver, of course, Litecoin, and love it or hate it, Ethereum is going to be around too. So, I mean, you're going to have these areas where I'm going to make sure that I've got some of my safe havens in to protect myself because, guys, You have people in the banking market that are sitting here and telling you, leave your money in the bank. It's FDI insured. Well, if you look at all the money that's in the bank account, FDI insurance does not cover all of it. Somebody's going to get shafted. Oh, yeah. It's not going to be pretty, guys. But even myself, with the miners capitulating a little bit, it looks like, or mining facilities just happen to be shut down. It looks like, in my opinion, I think that we're rolling in another channel. Where basically we just looked at another little mini wave. We're going to set in a lower high than the last time. We are not sustaining this new higher spot. We could hit, 6,900. If we can hit that and go higher, maybe we might be able to pull something out. But I don't really see it happening. I think there's going to be another wave of sell pressure from the trading platforms themselves. I'm looking at on the high side myself, I'm looking at 5,900. On the low side, I'm thinking somewhere right around 3,700. Not any kind of advice at all, just some observations of mine. So, you can still see it that we had more of a sell pressure this last time than we did a buy pressure. It's some of the even with the little bounce that we're doing, I think it's just going to be like a little dead cat bounce, and we're just going to roll down a little bit further. And I think at that point we're going to see some volume coming back in, because people are going to be putting in orders when we hit back into the 3,000 range, I believe. I may or may not have an order down there. With that, guys, what kind of feedback do you guys got on this? You agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. I know it's a little bit of a different take, but I've had a few people ask me what my thoughts are on the market, and I was like, this is a great way to kind of do it, show that I actually do chart, guys. It's not something that I talk about because of the fact there's 1,000 people that are doing this, thousands of people, and each one of them have great concepts. Some are a little bit more obscure than others, in my opinion, but people have a way that they look at the trading market. I look at it from basically market momentum. I always look at momentum on everything. How is the mining looking on there? How is the buy and sell orders coming in? Do we have a huge sell wall? Do we have a huge buy wall? Where are people got majority of their buying points at? And I'm starting to see a pickup of lower amounts having buy orders being put in. This could be a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point, that people want it so bad that it could happen, because people stop buying at the higher levels. They only want to buy at the lower levels. At some point in time, we will pop off, and these lower levels will not be seen again. Just like we're not going to see $8,000 Bitcoin. We're not going to see a $500 Bitcoin. We are beyond that, and at some point in time, we are going to be beyond the 3,000. We're going to be beyond the $5,000 range. So, yes, when it dips down there, I'm going to take advantage of all of that. But with it even at the higher levels, I'm not afraid of it at the higher levels. Would I like to see lower levels? Oh yeah. It's a great buying opportunity. As Warren Buffett had given some a good phrase, which would be, if there's blood in the streets, buy, even if the blood is yours. So if you know that the position you've taken is a good position and will be there, it's not going away, then when it dips down, buy a little bit more. Not advice at all. It's just a trick of the trade that I use. When it dips down, I DCA a little bit of my paycheck in. I don't make a whole lot, so I'm not like DCAing thousands of dollars, but you know what? If I could put $10 in a week, I'm doing it. But that's just me. I'm a boob tuber. What do I know? Let me know what your thoughts and comments are in the comments down below. So while you're down there, guys, smash that Lizzy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff, guys. All that good stuff. Share this video with anybody that would like to know the thoughts of how a miner is on the markets today. And stay tuned. I'm thinking about it, possibly doing a live stream later on tonight. I haven't decided. So I probably will do some, something to kind of break up the market and everything. Get people's mind off of crypto 100%. Maybe I'll sit there and since, crypto and hot rods, I do like a particular game, guys, called Dirt 4. might go live doing that. Play a few hours, get everybody's mind off of all the craziness that's going on out there. And on top of it, guys, I'm on lockdown. I'm at home today. Normally I'd be at work right now, but I'm at home because they cut my hours at work. Yeah. But I'm also a necessity because I'm in the automotive industry. And with everybody on lockdown, you know, everybody still needs their cars worked on. Because regardless if you go to work or not, your car's probably going to break down at some point in time. And I get that. I do. It just kind of stinks that I'm on the front line. Especially when there's people walking in for their emergency air filter. Emergency air freshener for the car. Because it was an emergency to be out to get that today. Right? It's supposed to be on lockdown. And people are like, it's almost kind of comical that people are finding excuses to go outside. You get mayors that are getting irritated at people because they're still going out, going to the parks, playing basketball and stuff like that in my area. It's like if people are so worried about this, they just need to shut the whole country down for like a month. The government's going to helicopter everybody money anyway. Universal basic income. Let that thing sink in. Universal basic income. They're going to give everybody an allowance to live. Interesting, right? Really, really interesting stuff. We'll have to see how this goes. And with this, guys, I'll definitely see you guys probably live a little bit later on tonight, guys. All right? So with that one, peace.